Hello, good morning, hi. Welcome to the Celebration Space. My name is Kaylee Phelps, and today I'm getting back on the wagon after doing a little trip up to Michigan. Got home really late last night after a lot of construction and drama on the road, but safe and sound, and hoping everyone else had a very safe weekend. So today we are talking about something. It is officially October. So when I left, it was September. Now it is October. And I wanted to talk about the last 90 days and how to view them, because I have been doing a challenge. I follow a number of different thought leaders in, let's say, the self-development space. I don't like the name self-help because I think everyone should, you have to help yourself to be able to help others, just like self-care is important. So self-development is something that I prefer to use the term, but I follow a number of different thought leaders, and one of them is Rachel Hollis, and I think that she does a really great job with viewing the last 90 days. It's a program that she's come up with in a few different areas. And she did a next 90 days segment at the beginning of quarantine, which was really cool, just to really be intentional about the next 90 days, that when we were in the middle of a crisis. And then she always does, it's traditionally the last 90 days of a year from October 1st to the end of the year. And what it kind of is, I went to introduce the thought by Rachel Hollis, and then I went to explore just the idea of looking at time and viewing the last 90 days as a whole, and then also looking at different segments of time and how they can help us organizationally and along a number of different journeys and goals. So really, I want to talk about last 90 days and give context of it, because it basically came to Rachel Hollis because she saw that a number of people, including herself, including myself, will use January 1st as a way to kick off goals, habits, and routines, and it's right after 3 months of eating a lot of candy. We're in October, so lots of candy is involved. Eating a lot of food and potentially drinking more for Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday parties, all that stuff. And then also spending a lot of money and bringing in more material things. And so your viewpoint kind of shifts towards the end of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's really a great time to, gather with loved ones, which is going to look different this year with the global health crisis. But it's also a time when we let go of a lot of our habits and routines and health-focused things. So really, this started as something that was part of a health journey for Rachel Hollis and maintaining habits and routines to try to maintain her health throughout that time. While I've been doing the last 90 days, I did it last October. I did next 90 days, like I mentioned at the beginning of quarantine. I think it started in April. And then now I'm doing this again, and the format has looked different every time, but this time it is a lesson and a theme for every month. So October is better than yesterday, November is plan to succeed, and December is choose joy. And so all three of those are going to be looking at different aspects of what you can focus on during this year. So during these last 90 days. So those are the three things. And then she also has her 5 to Thrive. So again, these are not my original ideas, but the 5 to Thrive are really things that you practice every single day. So it's waking up 1 hour earlier to focus on your goals, which we have to get organized and figure out what we want those goals to be, but focusing on those goals, having a gratitude practice. So she recommends writing things out. She has it as part of her Start Today journal, which I do have and I think is great. She also has a priority planner and a bunch of books. And then drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. So staying hydrated and doing that every single day, being very intentional about that. Oh, what am I forgetting? Oh, moving your body for 30 minutes every day in whatever way that looks like for you. So walking, doing yoga, doing a HIIT class, weight training, anything that looks like. And then the last one is giving up a category of food for 30 days. So in the last 90 days, it's 3 different types of food that some people split it up. That way, some people want to give up one type of food for the whole 90 days. You can really personalize it to what you want, but that could be giving up sweets or just ice cream if that's your thing, or just added sugar or alcohol or anything that maybe you're struggling with right now, or things that you know are triggers during the holiday season. For me, I try to stick away from dairy because of just like some health stuff that I have going on. So that's something that I'm going to try to shift away from, is looking at dairy. And also I love a good cheese plate, but trying to shift my focus away from that. So that is really what that looks like, and there's weekly content. So I think I included the last 90 days challenge below if you want to sign up and receive that content from Rachel Hollis. I think that it's really important, especially going into these last 90 days for this year, because I really like the idea of getting a fresh start. So October 1st, last Thursday marked also the beginning of a fiscal year. If you are, you know, you can work in quarters, you can work on, I know people, I've done this, where I work in my birthday and half birthday as kind of New Year's celebrations, starting goals. It feels a lot like, if you're someone like me, I want to start something on a Monday, I want it to be the first of a month, or I want it to be a significant Monday, or I want it to be something like that. But what I think this really does a good job of is just giving perspective of, you can look at periods of time and really be intentional through times that you know are going to be challenging, and prepare yourself for that, so that on January 1st, rather than starting in a deficit and having put on weight or spent a bunch of money or done a bunch of things and you're ending really worn out, you can actually start above where you would be. And on January 1st, then you have all these habits and routines put into place. So I wanted to put in the caveat that this year is different. And I loved the talk. I did watch the talk by Rachel Hollis. If you sign up for next 90 days, Tyler and I listened to it in the car yesterday, and it talked about being better than yesterday, which really looks like not being better than you've ever been, but just, especially during these difficult times, if you've been struggling with depression, if you've been struggling with eating more, if you've been struggling with not getting outside, if you've been struggling with not being as communicative with loved ones, or getting the type of self-care that you need, just doing a little bit better than yesterday. So if you have been working from your bed every day for over 6 months, maybe yesterday you worked in your bed, today you moved to the couch. Maybe the next day you move to the table, the next day you get more of a table setup, then you can start shifting your habits and routines, not doing giant steps, but just doing baby steps. So I love that idea. I also love, for me, I do a fiscal renewal every quarter. So I like to look at, that makes me sound extremely fancy, but really I'm someone who I don't follow the stock markets a ton. I like to look weekly. If you've ever had your credit card hacked, I knew I got my credit card hacked when somebody spent $50 at Popeyes while I was a vegetarian. And so I was like, And then I did a little bit of digging. So if you've ever had your credit card hacked, you know to look at least, I usually look weekly or bi-weekly just to make sure that all of my accounts are right, but just getting a full view of where I'm at, what growth has looked like, what deficit has looked like, especially being in this season of when I was furloughed and starting my own company. So looking at maybe what is something that you've been avoiding. I don't love looking at money and all of that stuff, but something that you can incorporate into a quarterly cycle, or incorporate into your life to help you look at goals in a different way. So that could also be starting something where you give up a food group, or doing something monthly, even just looking at periods of time or different aspects where you can just do a fresh restart without being like me and a number of other people I know that are like, okay, well, I just want it to be on the right day, or might as well phone it in until the end of this nightmare year of 2020, but we only get one precious life, so we might as well just revive and thrive where we can, when we want to do it. So I wanted to talk about this. It's going to be kind of a piggyback segment to a couple of other topics that I'm going to talk about, and I hope you let me know below if these sound good to you. But I'm going to talk about making time scarce and setting up boundaries. So that's going to be something I'm going to talk about not only on a seasonal basis, but also talking about it on a weekly or daily or hourly basis to be able to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success in that way. And then I also want to talk about something that's important to me is that around the holidays, I like to do a big cleanse. A lot of people like to do one in the spring and the fall. Totally makes sense as the seasons change, but before the holiday season, no matter what you celebrate, a lot of times there's a lot of physical items coming into your home, and that can become really overwhelming. So I'm going to talk through how I like to cleanse my home before the holiday season. So those are things that are coming up. I hope that this might give you some inspiration to join the next 90-day challenge. I'm doing it. If you want to join me, we can always be next 90-day challenge buddies. I'm happy to. I'd love to, support that community and definitely support this community in building habits and routines just to help us get out of ruts, especially as fall is a season of reflecting and we've been in quarantine for 6 months, or maybe not quarantine, self-isolation, being careful during a global health crisis, whatever you want to call it. So I hope that this might give you some ideas to look at the last 90 days in a different way. Maybe sign up for that challenge and maybe just start incorporating your own 5 to Thrive, your 3 to Thrive, whatever is going to help support you best during this crazy time. So wonderful. That is the end of everything I have for you today. And until next time, enjoy celebrating today.